it's Robert here. I'm driving over to the Patterson Gimlin film site. Behind me is Ian and Steve. We're going back to check on it. This site, we saved this site for last because we were really curious about this one. This is the one that we used to call the Cliff Brackman site. And that's the area they felt the most comfortable with, and possibly that's the location. So we're going to go visit that today. Today is October 9, 2011, and we're almost down to the turnoff for it. So I'll keep you posted how we're going through this.
It's been about a year since we started this?
Yeah, about back in October.
October of last year.
Yeah, it's been 1 year since we've been working on this, and we're back up to look at what we were calling the Brackman site. So we're just getting ready to head on up. And there's our road.
Good day for it.
Yes. I'm here in the car with Ian. Okay, Ian, what are we doing today?
Well, we are on our way back down the access road, 12N13 H, I believe.
Yes.
And we are about halfway down to the creek. I think about 2/3 of the way to the new berm that closes the road. And we're going down to the creek to take a look at what's commonly called the Brackman site, after Hollywood Cliff, who's star of Finding Bigfoot. But he's basically just relating the site as Bob Gimlin remembers it and identifies it. So we're going down to take a look at that.
Here's the berm.
And yeah, we're right at the berm pretty quickly. So it's just over a mile, I think, on foot down to what used to be the bat boxes, or I guess they're still there. But that used to be the parking and access. So we hoof it the rest of the way, and we'll get down there, try to take some measurements, look around a little closer, see if we can come up with any specific landmarks. This site is a real contender.
Yeah.
Probably the current leader for the film site from 1967. So
And we saved this one for last for right now.
Well, it's been an ongoing process. Here it is, October 9th. It's almost exactly 1 year since we started this film project. So we have learned, we've made progress, and there's definitely a consensus developing. I have some reservations. I'm interested in some sites downstream, but if we can find some landmarks, that'll convince me.
All right. Let's get to it.
All right.
Well, here we are at the bottom of where Bob Gimlin has identified the first sighting location. We're not there yet, but we're past the big gulch and the rounded gravel bar, which we've identified as more the general consensus area. We're getting up to the upper sandbar. This is the first big downed root ball that might correspond with the drawing that Bob Titmus did. Now, the old road would have had to have gone through here. You can kind of see a flat area where it might have, but apparently the creek has settled down in here. According to Bob, there was, and all the other records, there was a road on this side of the creek going all the way around. It's altogether possible that that might be a remnant of the road cut there. But recently Bob was here and reconfirmed the site location as up there. This is the second time he's confirmed that, which we used to call the Cliff site or the Brackman site. Now we're calling it the Gimlin site. Or if you want to belabor it, it could be the Gimlin Bobo Brackman site. I don't know if that is the actual thing. It seems a little bit too far downstream from the spot that Gimlin was pointing out.
Right, and It takes a flood like 64 to try to move these kind of things, and I don't think this has moved in quite a while.
Yeah, although Bob said he felt like the root balls were farther downstream than they used to be. So somehow he thought perhaps they had moved. I don't know how you can move one of those things unless you had Noah's flood come through here.
No, that's pretty good size.
That had a tree attached to it.
Steven, why don't you walk down just to get next to it to get another perspective of size. The description that they talked about was the size of a small house, right?
Here we are.
Size of a room? Size of a room.
October 9th, 10th today.
Yeah.
Here's your vine maples. Not even turning yellow.
Not red yet.
Barely turning yellow here. Alright, this is about the bottom of the root structure right here.
Yeah, it's pretty good size. All right, thank you, Steven.
Here's our sandbar level here too.
Yep.
This is just the beginning of the prospective area. We're standing at the lower end now of the mark on the map that DeHinden made. This is also where Bob Gimlin has twice now confirmed the sighting location, the first sighting location, which would mean some 100 feet up into the back before 112 feet, I believe, before the film even starts. Patterson and Gimlin would have been coming up the road this side of the creek. Of course, it's sunken down much farther now than it was back then. So that extraordinarily high level spot up there may not have seemed so high back in the day. The road came in through here somewhere. Gimlin said they were back in there. They saw her across the creek. So it could have been just past that root ball, which we just passed, looking into here, and they're back in there seeing the Bigfoot up in this area. So I don't think Bob can get perfectly exact to the exact spot because the actual ground has changed here. Given the changes in the ground, I would say anywhere from in here up there is where they could have first seen her. And it's not that far. Like 30 or 40 yards most. Right? If you look at the recreation that Munz has done, his digital replica, there's definitely piles of gravel.
That's on the Munz report, right?
Well, he's posting it on the Munz report thread on the Bigfoot forums right now. And he's eventually going to incorporate this into his new edition of the Munz report, supposedly coming out on the 20th.
This is the location we talked about as DeHinden's X on the map. That Daniel Perez had made DeHinden and put an X on it. So this kind of fits the topography here. So we're going from DeHinden's X back up to where Steven is on the hillside here. The talk was there was a road cut on the right side of the creek. Well, here's an old floodplain Steven's sitting on. Stevie, this could have been obviously this is a high floodplain area here. It's flat here.
This is the old remnant corresponding to that level on that side of the deposits from the historic floodplains. Since then, it's been eaten away. So we really don't know where that old road could have been. It may have gone in front of here somewhere, and that's all eroded away now. I know Gimlin said that there was a lot more sand piled up here, and a lot less of these rocks like you see. You didn't see these rocks there. It's mostly fine gravel and sand.
It's the road base, not the road base, the river base rock. While the flood deposits smaller pieces on top, much like where Steven's sitting.
Well, if you look at the recreation that Munz did, there's a big pile of gravel and stuff in front of the creek, and the road would have come up somewhere along here where they first saw her, if this is the right spot. Patterson is running up along the creek for quite a ways in the Munz recreation and reaches a crook in the creek or in the first frame of the film, you see the creek actually. A few glimpses, and it does look a lot like that. But then it disappears. Patterson crosses the creek. You see that little glimpse of the creek at the first frame, and then the Bigfoot retreating in the back. And Patterson runs across the creek. That's where you see the camera jostling. And you see the footage with frames of just white, washed out gravel. And then he comes up back on the top, on the other side, and that's when you start seeing him getting stable shots of the Bigfoot moving across the trees right back in here. If this is the correct location, that the first frames of the film are shot back against those trees there. Patterson runs up into here, and then over here, shoots up against those trees facing northeastward, that way.